Hey, how you doing? I put this on here so you would be able to relate it back to the last video that I did, so you'll know what I'm showing you here because a lot of these other images don't look like this right here, and this is what I am really having a hard time figuring that out because this is a screen grab from the Nikon, and the images that I took with the Nikon, the actual photographs, do not look anything like the video images. I mean, I'm just like, how can that possibly be? Now, let me show you the infrared video of this thing. Pause it a second. You see something coming off the left-hand side of that? I had to watch it a few times to see if I was seeing what I was seeing. But anyway, this is pointing due west. I tried to take a couple of videos through here, and the camera was getting absolutely stupid and just wouldn't, focus in on the object. So through here, I started taking some photographs. I'll show you those in a minute, and they don't look anything like that first image that I showed you on here that was taken with the same camera, and it was just a screen grab from a video instead of a photograph. So how in the world? But anyway, this thing is incredible, whatever it is. I'm not exactly sure it's ours really. Anyway, I got a real narrow porch out there to stand on, and I can't rotate 360 when something goes by like this. So when this thing gets about 120 degrees, I start struggling to, maintain focus on it, or keeping it in frame here. So I want to pause it right about in here. Okay, I've got canvas around the outside of the balcony there to keep out light so I don't get lens flare and things like that. And as I was doing this, I thought, well, the image is getting distorted because it's touching that canvas as it's going by. And I'm glad I didn't completely buy into that thought and stop the video. Watch this thing rotate on its axis from the right to the left. And you see how the light signature is a lot less than what it was at the beginning. This is a screen grab from right there toward the beginning here, and you can see these striations on here, right? It causes this whole thing to look like an orb. And right here is an intense area of light, and that's where the beam was coming out, which I don't think was a spotlight, because it would be as bright as the orb image that you're looking at right there. It would be a beam of light coming down, but as it is, I think this is a beam of infrared, a FLIR, or since it's passing over the Indian mounds, it could be something entirely different than what we're familiar with, because this object is definitely different than what we're familiar with. This right here is a screen grab, of course, from toward the end of the video here when you saw it rotate to the left. You see how it's kind of wiggled right here? This is that spindle on the top and the bottom that I call vortex generators that may or may not be, of course. And what's going on, I think, is the skin's closing up on the outside of this. Now, have you ever seen one of those octopuses? When they roll back on themselves and all the tentacles disappear and all you can see is like a ball of suction cups or whatever. I think that's what this thing's done. And this is a screen grab from the infrared that I cleaned up all the background noise out of the image and tried to isolate this so you could see what it is that we're looking at here, but I'm not sure exactly what it is that we're looking at, to be honest with you. Another screen grab cleaned up from the infrared. Another one, you can see the spindle on the top and the bottom, and the energy source there toward the middle. Here it's got a kind of a X-wing, if you will, configuration to it, right? Let me show you an image that I took 2 years ago with the Nikon. Now, when I took this image here, there was another one just like this one, okay? And it was down over here, way down over here to the left, and then there was one way up here at the top. Only this one at the top was different than the two on the bottom. These two on the bottom were identical. And to this day, of course, I still don't know what they are, but, you know, they're out there flinging around. I mean, look at that. That's a cleaned up infrared image, okay? And here, it looks like where it was doing that hourglass configuration maneuver. This is like, you know, in between when it was going from the right to the left there. What in the world? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man, if it's from here or somewhere else. But these three images here are images that I took with the Nikon as it was moving, and I was trying to take still photographs, of course, of a moving object, and that's what you get. But my point is, why does it look so much different in these photographs than it does at the very beginning? Because at the very beginning, it's the same camera. It's taking a video, cleans up, looks like a copper kettle, take a photograph of it, and it looks like some kind of frickin' who knows what. You know what I'm saying? Man, I don't know how can it do that. It must be putting off some kind of energy field. It's just keeping it invisible because, like I said, you know that this is a screen grab uh, uh, with the same camera, and it looks entirely different. Kind of neat, really. And this is a cleaned up screen grab from the infrared, and this is kind of boxy right here. Okay, you can't see it very well, but when I was cleaning it up and putting it through different filters, I could see it's kind of boxy right here. And you can obviously see this hourglass configuration as it's closing up on itself. And what appears to me to be, they're not eyes, of course, but you've got two different, what looks like to me to be, you know, visual optics here to give it depth perception. And this, I believe, is where the beam was coming out of. Kind of looks like a faucet handle on a garden hose or something. And here you see the striations running down through it. And so, like I said earlier about the octopus, if this opens all the way up, all the way up, all the way up that way, and wraps around back on itself, whatever this is, keeps it from being visible. And so does this skin that's on there. So what in the world this thing could possibly be for? Beyond my imagination, that's for sure. But anyway, thanks for having a look. Hope you subscribe to the channel. Take care no matter what you're doing out there. And hopefully we'll get to do this again sometime. Thanks again.